Banjo Kazooie and Banjo Tooie were forced upon me to give my take on them. Here's the review. What is that? It's a kazoo! Give me that.
Let's start off with Banjo Kazooie. Banjo Kazooie was a game for the Nintendo 64, released by Rareware in 1998. It's another one of those weird 3D platformers that seemed to thrive on the Nintendo 64, or in the 90s in general. Taking a look at the game's cover, you can't really guess what to expect when playing this game. You've got a bear grabbing a golden puzzle piece, with a bird on his back, a skull with legs and a skirt, looking up at the giant witch who is trying to grab the bear and bird. It doesn't make any sense. I played it to the end anyway, and here's what happened.
How do I even use this thing? I see.
It starts off by showing us a witch Gruntilda, talking to a cauldron about being beautiful, and she finds out there's a pretty girl named Tootie, who Gruntilda envies and decides to kidnap to steal her beauty, much to her brother Banjo's dismay, and so Banjo and his bird friend Kazooie decide to go on an adventure to save Tootie.
Why do I have to play this game?
So you're thrown into the beginning area, Spiral Mountain, and as you explore, your mole friend, Bottles, teaches you your moves. Bottles, huh.
It's funny, because he wears glasses.
As you're making your way to Gruntilda's lair, you've got to fend off attacks from vegetables.
Yes, vegetables.
Once you get inside Gruntilda's lair, you obtain your first Jiggy. Gruntilda's lair serves as the overworld to Banjo Kazooie, and it does it pretty well for a console game. There are 10 of these Jiggies per world, and 100 musical notes to collect. The musical notes are required to move through Gruntilda's lair and progress to more worlds. I must admit, I do enjoy the little dance Banjo and Kazooie do when they find a Jiggy. It makes me even want to do a jig. Privately. Not only are there Jiggies and notes to find, you can find Jinjos, honeycomb pieces, mumbo tokens, red feathers, gold feathers, and eggs, all of which will help you on your adventure. If you enjoy collecting things, then you will enjoy this game. The only problem with this is it's not as easy as pressing Alt-Tab and finding a walkthrough online, like on the PC. In this you actually have to figure it out yourself. There are plenty of things the bear and bird combo can do. They can ram things, Banjo can relax and let Kazooie do the work. They can almost fly, and eventually they can actually fly. Mumbo Jumbo, in exchange for Mumbo tokens, can transform you into different creatures and objects, like a termite or crocodile. This grants you access to certain areas and Jiggies. For a console game, it's fun, and that's saying a lot from me. There's always something going on. Minigames? Wait, hold it. Does Mr. Vile's voice remind you of anyone? You've got gorillas throwing oranges at you, unique enemies, and continuous displays of the developers' imaginations.
As far as the visuals go, we all know that Nintendo 64 had bad graphics compared to the PC, but despite this handicap, the developers did well utilizing the bare minimum this console had to offer.
Look at Nintendo 64's attempt at a splash. At displaying grass. At the sky. One of the things they did right was the camera. It is very well implemented. You can control it by using the C buttons, although I much prefer using the mouse, obviously. The music is fun, appropriate, and changes with the mood and atmosphere of wherever you are in the world. It sets the pace for the entire game. There's not a dull moment to be had in terms of the sound. Who knew a console game could hold audio so well? Overall, Banjo Kazooie surprisingly, and despite it being on an inferior platform, was a fun game to play. If only it was in 4K and 60 frames per second. Come on, at least 1080p. I must inform you of the sequel to Banjo Kazooie, Banjo Tooie. Banjo Tooie was released 2 years later in 2000. It follows the events of Banjo Kazooie from when Gruntilda the Witch was squished under a rock. She has been revived by her two sisters, Minjala and Blobalda. Gruntilda, who is now reduced to a skeleton, takes revenge on Banjo and Kazooie by blowing up their house and, in effect, killing Bottles.
Explaining the stories through these games is painful.
The gameplay to the sequel is pretty much the same as Banjo Kazooie. You have the overworld, which is now the Isle of Hags, and is certainly bigger than Banjo Kazooie's Gruntilda's Lair. It's similar to Banjo Kazooie in that the worlds you need to find Jiggies in are connected through the overworld. Except this time, instead of note doors, you have Master Jiggy Wiggy's temple. In order to open up new worlds, you have to complete his challenge. In the different worlds, there are 10 Jiggies for you to collect, as well as musical notes. And Gingers also make a return. Mumbo Jumbo returns as well. He helps you by performing certain spells in certain parts of the world, which do different things. With the help of a new character, Humba Wumba, you can transform into different things, like a washing machine. You can be a snowball, a little statue thing, and many more. You have the return of some items and moves like the wading boots, the shock jump pad, and more. There are inclusions of new items. For example, there are new types of eggs. The grenade egg, which is a grenade, obviously. The fire egg, the ice egg, and the clockwork egg, which shoots out a little robot Kazooie that happens to be an explosive device. The explosions are hardly realistic, but that's typical. A feature that they added to the series is the ability to separate Banjo and Kazooie. While they are alone, they can each perform and learn new moves from Bottle's brother, Jam Jars, at the expense of musical notes.
Banjo can use his backpack as a sleeping bag, which recovers health, or as a potato sack-like thing, which allows him to jump over hazardous areas. As well as more, of course. I don't want to give away all the things you can do. Kazooie can now glide. She can run faster than Banjo, and jump higher. She can also be used as a torpedo. Another new character is Honeybee. You give her honeycomb pieces you've collected in the world in exchange for more health. The graphics have improved too. It shows they really push what little power the Nintendo 64 had. The worlds are imaginative, but this is where the game drags compared to the first installment. Banjo-Kazooie's difficulty lay in its gameplay. As you progressed, the enemies became a little harder to beat, and the boss battles grew in difficulty as well. The worlds themselves were simple and easy to remember. The worlds in Banjo-Tooie are a complete mess. They have twisting paths, doors with no hint of where they lead. In Banjo-Kazooie, it'd be shown to you where the door leads, by the shape or color of the entry. In Banjo-Tooie, most doors look the same, and it's very easy to get lost. I feel this is just an attempt to make the game seem bigger. And it's especially irritating because some of the Jiggies can only be obtained by coming back with the later move. And it gets frustrating when you don't know your way around the level to that one Jiggy.
Banjo-Tooie is a great sequel to a great game, but the confusing level design just drags it down enough to be second best. That being said, I think that... No, not you.
This has to be the hardest, most cruel minigame in history. You have to press the A button so fast. You can't comprehend how fast you have to press this button.
Kazoo isn't helping.
Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie were forced upon me to take my give on them. Banjo-Tooie were forced upon me to give... were forced upon...
You can't say it now.
Okay, it's just a word.
It's just a word.
It's just a word, like any other word.
Humans created words.
So we can understand each other.
Exactly.
Oh, I've lost it now. You were forced upon me to give my take on... No, I'm laughing. It's that fucking word, I swear. Okay. Banjo Kazooie and Banjo Tooie were...
So I can make little videos.
For people who don't watch, like, comment and subscribe. Do it, I'll come to your house.